morning and welcome to another live edition of Wealth Building Wednesday. Wealth Building Wednesday is a podcast brought to you specifically for us to close this thing called the wealth gap in America. And we are delighted to be a part of everything that TRHT Selma is offering to our community. TRHT stands for Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation. And we are based here in the historic city of Selma, Alabama. We are a partnership between the Black Belt Community Foundation and the Selma Center for Nonviolence, Truth, and Reconciliation. We're excited to reintroduce to some. If you have been an avid watcher of Wealth Building Wednesday, then you already know our guest today. We're excited to have her on board, Miss Andrea Rogers Mosley from the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center located at the Alabama State University. So good morning.
Good morning, Lydia. And it is awesome to be back with you again on Wealth Building Wednesday.
Yes, we are excited to have you. And today is actually a very special day for SBDCs across the country. Why is today special?
Yeah, so this is America's SBDC Day, and it's a proclamation that's since this is our 8th, as a matter of fact, celebration, and it is to spotlight the SBDCs across the country, which is about 1,000 centers, 10 centers in Alabama. And it spotlights the work that we do with the impact of how we support the small businesses. And it gives us opportunity to highlight some of our small businesses with the work that they're doing to impact their economy. So exciting time for us.
It is, and 8 whole years. And so you've talked about that there are over 1,000 centers across the country. Now, what exactly are SBDCs? Like where are they based and why were they even created?
Yeah, so we're 40 years in existence now, created in 1980, and we're funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration. So we are a resource partner to them, and what we do is all at no cost, for our services, but we work with the small businesses to help them with starting their business, and it doesn't matter what stage they are. So we take them to and work with them through the life cycle of a business. So if they're in the ideation stage all the way to exit strategy, helping them with business plan development, market research, identifying, the capital, access to capital, helping them put loan package together, and then also helping them to really know if they have a valid idea. I would even start with that and doing the necessary research before they start their business off. The services that we offer, again, I'll repeat this one more time, is no cost to them. And it's because it's federally funded in part by the Small Business Administration. And when I say helping them to at different levels of their business, when they are in business and they get to that point where they're 2 years in, the SBDC is partnered with also our Apex accelerators. That's our procurement centers to help them to know how to do business with the federal government. And then we also have an international trade center that helps them to navigate whether or not the services that they're offering or the products that they have, can they sell these things overseas, but then understanding what are the laws and requirements. And then we also work with them with, as I said earlier, putting loan packages together through our capital access team. The idea for the businesses, SBDCs, is to help businesses to start, grow, and to expand, and to be successful, surviving and thriving. So I'll say when COVID hit, the SBDCs was the front line because we were located in most of their local areas, and most of us are in one of the major colleges. So like in Alabama, we're at the all of the University of Alabama's center colleges, like the Tuscaloosa, South Alabama, West Alabama, North Alabama, and Huntsville. And then we're also located in Birmingham at the Innovation Center. We're at Alabama State University, Troy, Auburn, and then also Jacksonville State University. So no matter where those businesses was and during those time frames, we were there for them, just like we are today, helping them.
Well, I know you from years back. You did an extraordinary presentation for the Selma Dallas County community years ago at our library. And so that's where I first
Mhm.
was in contact
Yeah.
with you and first started learning about the SBDCs. And then you've also come to present during one of our in-person presentations, because Wealth Building Wednesday is not just a podcast, a video podcast, but we also do in-person events. And so you
Mhm.
presented there, but to hear that there are so many locations makes it so convenient for people to actually tap into the services that you said, and I'll say again, are absolutely free of charge. That
Mhm.
is so important for people to know, because so many times, I cannot tell you how many times, that people are looking for assistance, and I'm like, hey, we have assistance right here, let's get
Mhm.
you over to. Literally last week, as a matter of fact, I emailed a gentleman who's not based in Dallas County, but he's in Wilcox County. Emailed him your information, wanted to make sure that people are tapping into this resource that is, I don't want to say some folks just don't know about yet, but it's true that
Yeah.
not a lot of people are aware of the small business development centers, and especially those folks who may be in most need.
Yeah.
I know before we came online, we were talking about the influx of new businesses. So I want to ask you now, if I am a person, right, I'm just starting out. I think that I have this great idea. I am super excited. I have talked to my family, and my cousins think that it's a great business idea. What are the things that I need to do to get started?
Yeah. So, when you come to us and sit down,
Mhm.
and typically how people find us most of the time is that they're searching on the internet. They go to SBA, and then on
Mhm.
SBA, they see all the resources that's available for them.
Right.
And so typically that's how they find us. And so when you come and sit down with us, one of the things that we're going to really work with you with, first of all, is just the research. That's where we want you to start out, because we want you to know your industry. We also want you to understand what type of services that's available for you, as far as you're developing the networking opportunities. Understanding, when we say your industry,
Mhm.
knowing what the trends are,
Okay.
and so that you're able to foresight by looking at some of the best practices in your industry. So we tell you to go to your industry association, because no matter what business that you're in, there's association for you. If you're selling cupcake, there's an industry associations for cupcake business. So we'll start there with just the research, and then from the research, and then start looking at whether or not this is a valid idea. Is there a pain in the industry, and are you the aspirin for that pain for your business? And that's how we look at you. And
Okay.
so we start working with you with a business plan,
Okay.
because the business plan is going to help you to map out your strategies for your business. And then once we work with you with your business plan, then we'll start talking about those other components of things that you'll need for your business, like identifying and really researching the name so that you can make it unique. We walk you straight through, like going to if you're determining that you're going to do an LLC or sole proprietor. We don't make the decision for you, because that's a legal decision and entity that you're forming. So we suggest that you talk with your part of the Bell team, and that's the banker, the accountant, the insurance agent, and the lawyer. So we suggest that you talk with the lawyer and sit down with your CPA, identify those. So as you're working your business from the beginning, you'll have those your team already in place, and they can help you to make their sound decisions as to which entity that you need to choose for your business, because it's going to make a difference about the
Mhm.
taxes that you pay for your business, and also whether or not your assets and your personal assets will be tied to your business. And that's very serious, because if something happened at business, your personal assets can be also part of the liability risk. And
Absolutely. So now the step one is to know your industry. Do the
yes.
research, right? So what
Mhm.
I heard you say is that my cousin's approving of my business idea is simply not enough.
No, no. And then write the plan.
Yes. And then so step two would be writing the business plan.
Mhm.
Now, do business plans make a difference when it comes to funding? Because I think that may be the number one question that I personally get when it comes to small business development. folks have the great
Mhm.
idea, they've done some level of research, but everybody's like, Lydia, can you help me get some money? You can help me get some money for my business. So if that's
Mhm.
the question, how important is it for us to actually have a business plan when it
Yeah.
comes to seeking funding for our business?
Yeah, so the business plan helps you to map out your strategies, first of all. It says what it is that you want to do, how are you going to do it,
Hmm.
how long is it going to take you to get there, and then how much is it going to cost. So
Right.
the business plan starts off with the financials. You need to understand what your startup costs are. In order for you to go to the banker and sit down and talk with a banker, whether if it's a bank or just a family member, friend, or someone that's going to give you some money, they need to see what your plans are, because that business plan is going to demonstrate to them your startup costs, how much it's going to cost you, as well as your budget. What
Hmm.
is your budget that you need to have to operate this business? How much income that needs to come in to the business to cover your operating expenses of your business? Also, your price and costing for that item that you're making. What is the cost of that item and how much do you price it, so that you can understand what your gross profits are? And then from there, it's also going to demonstrate to you what are your income statements, and what does that look like for profit and loss. So it will talk about in the business plan from your financials, your income minus your expenses equals your net income. The banker wants to see what that net income is. And then it's going to demonstrate to you your balance sheet. At any point of given time, what's your net worth for your business? So the business plan is going to demonstrate, is there enough capital and net worth of your business? And then the other thing is your cash balance. Your cash balance is going to tell the banker how much money that you have that's in your after you pay all your bills, your operating transactions, your financing activities. What is the money left over that's going to be able to carry you on to your next month and your next year of your business? So these statements, you'll look at them on a monthly basis. When a banker look at your business plan and those financial statements, what
Hmm.
they're guiding from there, getting from there is, do you have enough money to service a debt? Because if you're, and it's not in projections, you're projecting because you're starting off your business.
Hmm.
But if your business got to first of all show them, and it definitely in the projection, that you're going to be able to make money, and that's a part of it. But when you go into the bank, they're looking at that business plan, your financials. Can you service the debt from the business? But they're also going to look at you individually, because you are the principal of your company. So that means your credit report, your capitalization, whether how you capitalize a loan, also your capacity, what skill sets basis that you have to carry out this business. What does that business plan look like? Do you have all of the resources and the tools, the capacity, employees, things that you would need to make sure that your business is operating? That's what the business plan is going to demonstrate to the banker, to an investor, or also if you're looking for a partner in the business. So it is extremely important that you write the business plan out and you project out the numbers. It's good for the individual, that even if they're not seeking to look for additional for funding and it's going to self fund, it's good for the individual, because it is really the only way in your financials of your business plan to tell how healthy your company is. Because the business plan financial says to you whether or not your company is profitable, whether if it's running efficient, and then whether or not there's a liquidity, it's assets in your business. So that's the purpose of that business plan, strategizing and mapping out your road to success.
And so I'm so glad that you took the time to lay this out, because
Mhm.
I've run into a lot of small business owners who just simply do not have a formal business plan.
Mhm.
And then when we look back and we think about, okay, so why are certain pieces missing? Or, as the business starts to grow, because not having a business plan does not mean that your business won't grow, right? You could grow on accident, right? You really could be, like you said, the aspirin to the pain in your community or in your region or in the country,
Mhm.
and your success just skyrockets out of nowhere. but there are pieces that may be missing along the way because we did not write the vision and make that thing plain. So now I
Yes.
want to go back to this idea of our personal credit. So I'm just starting out. If I'm a small business owner, I don't have ideal credit. Does that make it more difficult to find funding? And if so, if it's more difficult, like, is it difficult enough for me to like want to work on my personal credit and then come back to it, or is it difficult to the point that I can still find it and work on my personal credit?
So you're definitely going to have to be working on personal credit if there's some blemishes on it. And one of the things that they want to do is to make sure that they go, now start off this, go to annualcreditreport.com, annualcreditreport.com, and make sure that you're putting in exactly that. And when you put it in, that's exactly what you see in the URL, because there's some other companies out there that would charge you. This
You're
is
right.
free, and it's mandated by the federal government that you can go and pull your credit report from all 3 credit bureaus annually every 12 months. Okay. That's the first thing that they want to do. And if they're in partnership, they want to make sure that they're doing that in a partnership business too, that everybody's laying it out on the table, because it makes a difference as to when you go to the bank, whether or not that partner that is a 50% partner or anybody that's over 10%. When they start, the bank looks at the credit. They're going to look at the credit of every individual partners that's over that amount. Okay. So if you got someone that's weak in the area with credit scores and credit history, then it's going to impact you as to whether or not you're successful at getting your financing from the bank. Credit scores are just like if you're going to purchase a home or a house, it is going to make a difference whether or not you get that loan from the bank. And so there's also creative financing, and like we call bootstrapping for the business. So bootstrapping means that you start off small and you grow. And so at some point in time, you may not need to, you need the funding to start the business, but can you start your business off at maybe only providing certain services and grow the business in that services, and then work on wealth building for the business? Okay. That means that you might not be paying yourself right now. That's why it's so important. I tell people, keep your job until your business is showing that you're ready now to move on your own and you can start, because you got to live, right? Mm-hmm. And you need to keep a job. You got to have some money coming in. So the business has to take care of itself. So that's one of the ways that we say with bootstrapping, and just start. And it's also looking at others that people that maybe can loan you from, not traditionally from the banker, but going to other means of loan. Some people go the route of, getting credit cards, and they fund their business with credit card. But with that, you have to be mindful that those credit cards will pile up. Interest rates are high, and you can get more trouble with those if you're not paying them off as you go make the money with your business. Money comes in, you need to pay it. There's also creative financing. And so I have a rental property that I needed to, this is back a couple of years back, but anyway, I needed to get some work done on the house. Mm-hmm. And so I went to the bank, because I've been with the bank for this bank since 17 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so it's like, okay, I'm going to my bank, get a loan, because I've been with this bank for a long time. I got a car note, and everything, mm-hmm. and paid off and all this stuff. So I went and just needed a small loan, a credit union. And they said, well, we can't loan on rental properties like that. I was like, what? I can't get a loan? I've been with you all this time. And so what they did was, my car had some equity in it, and almost paid off, but it was still good enough equity in the car. And so the interest rate, it was 2.9%. Mm-hmm. So what she did was, she took the car, refinanced it, gave me the money that I needed to work on the house. And the interest rate, and for that loan as it went, it was 2.9%, versus if I gotten a loan for a business loan, which would have been 8 and 9%. And so you see what I just did? Went to the bank. We sat down, we talked, we did some creative financing. It did put a loan back onto the car, mm-hmm. but it gave me the number of money that I needed to go ahead and get the repairs on the house. And because the interest rates was so low, I was able to pay it off quicker and faster.
Wow. Okay.
So creative financing, it doesn't mean that you can't get it. It's just working with your bank and talking with them to see what creative things that you can do.
And so we have a question. This is someone, I guess, who just tuned in, wanted to ask about special financing for food trucks or catering services. So when it comes to food businesses, right, restaurants and bars are fast to open, but they're also fast to close. So are there resources that people who are in the food industry can tap into that may be more creative financing, or if are there angel donors or what have you that you're aware of?
So I'll tell you, the restaurant business is
Mhm.
one of the
Tough.
riskiest business, first of all.
Mhm.
So most bankers are very reluctant to loan money on for those types of businesses, and especially if you're a startup company. Not to say that you can't. The idea is to sit down, write that business plan up, and really take some time to write it up, because you have to show them, in that business plan, that ticket sale was that average ticket sale that's
Mhm.
coming out the door that you're selling, and how much you're going to make money, how you're going to make your money, and return pay them for any type of loan. But it's challenging for a risky for a business. So for a food truck business, with that one, it's the truck itself. So it's when you're looking at that one, it's pretty much you're going out and purchasing that truck just like you would do your regular
A
vehicle or
vehicle.
car.
Okay.
That's what you're looking at with it. As far as grants and angel investors, I'm not aware of these entities that's out there now. Sometimes
Mhm.
in some of the cities, and Birmingham is really good at it, because I've noticed that and kind of follow some of the things that they do.
Mhm.
They do have some programs that they inject into their small business and entrepreneurs through competitive or where they're applying for a grant based on their write up of their business idea. And so those are things that you want to look at. Some companies, such as your corporations, I know, I'm trying to think of who it was at one time. I think it was PayPal did this at one time. And then it was some other companies, American Express, that I remember that they had some competitive things that they did to that they were, people would be able to put in for grants with them. So you want to
Mhm.
scan and look to see what corporations, also major corporations, that are offering some programs for minority small businesses, women-owned businesses, because some of those do exist. But again, it's competitive, and you don't want to build your company around that,
Right.
because that is a one-time thing. It's an iffy thing. There's a small amount, maybe 2,000, 3,000. You can't run your business on grants. You have to build that business plan out and look at how are you going to make profit for that business, and then go with it, because you're a for-profit business. You're not a charity. This is your baby. You conceived it, you birthed it, and now you got to nurture it.
All right. So now I want to get to some questions. We have questions rolling in. You mentioned angel. Well, I asked about angel donors, and then you also mentioned grants. And so we do have a viewer who wants to know about grants for small businesses. Are
And they're
those, and like
rare.
you,
They're
go ahead.
rare.
Okay.
I'll tell you, they're rare with grants for businesses. And even when you go out and do your search on Google and try to identify those grants, you want to be
Mhm.
very careful with the ones that you do find and come across, because you might find some. And if you do, you want to vet it. You want to look for the reviews. You want to check them out. If they're asking you for money for a
Mhm.
grant,
Mhm.
that's
I've seen
that.
that.
I don't do that one, because
Mhm.
if you're doing that, that means that you may be one of the people, after they collected $500 or $200 or $300 for 1,000 people, and then they give out a $2,000 grant.
Mhm.
don't don't do that one, because those are people that's making money. But you want to make sure that if you are finding them, check them out, make sure that they're legitimate organizations. And the way that you can do that is to really look at the Better Business Bureaus, and also the state of the where they reside at, to
Mhm.
make sure that there's not any complaints about them. But if you deal with the corporations, as I was suggesting earlier, and also some of the national nonprofit organizations, then you know most of the time that those are legitimate organizations.
Okay, so now then there's also a question about food manufacturers, folks who created shelf stable merchandise. And then what if folks own their food truck free and clear? Does that make them a more favorable investment when it comes to financial institutions and their consideration for a loan?
Yeah, because you have some collateral with that food truck that you're owning, but
Mhm.
then again, it's still going to go back to the your credit scores,
Okay.
your personal capacity, to your money that's coming in already, because they look, what do you have now? Can you service the debt? So if I give you a loan for $500, right? Your personal net worth as well as your business net worth, the money that's coming in is going to have to demonstrate that you can service that debt.
Okay. So I have a question about the daycare industry. What about getting loans for starting a daycare along
Mhm.
with money to repay loans until the profit starts to roll in? Is there such a thing?
So there are working capital loans,
Okay.
and then there are, yeah, and I'll talk about SBA first of all. Let me just start there too, because I
Okay.
don't think I mentioned that while we were talking about loan. So when you go to the bank and you do not have enough collateral,
Mhm.
and then there are some challenges in as far as what you got to have profits. That's the bottom line to it coming in. However, if there's a collateral issues that the banks are looking, SBA has what they refer to as a loan guarantee programs. And those loan guarantee programs can help support you with getting a loan because it's like your rich uncle's co-signing for you. That's what
Okay.
the SBA guarantee loans are. So SBA don't do the loans, it's the bank that does the loan. So there's
Mhm.
still the elephant in the room. But because if you can get an SBA guarantee loan, then that means that the banker is more comfortable because it will guarantee anywhere up to 80% for the types of loans. And for the 7A loan, it's like 700, $500,000 that you would look at with those types of loans that can be available for you. So it's it's some programs that's out there that can support you. Again, it comes with writing a business plan, is sitting down talking about with your business advisors, and that's SBDC. Tap into us so that we can help you with putting together that loan package and your business plan. Um, but those are some things that I would suggest that's out there for you. But back to the question about the truck itself, yes, it does put you in a better position because that means you don't have your money tied up in debt with someone else, and your debt to income ratio is a little bit lower.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get back to, because it is the eighth SBDC day in America, and we are celebrating the fact that you all offer free services to people and nurture business owners, whether they have just come up with the idea or they are looking at retirement and how to transition this business. Do I need to sell it to the next generation, to my children? Or do I just close? Right? Do I gracefully move out of the industry? So that, just in and of itself, all of the things that you all offer. I know that you mentioned earlier the Apex program, which helps businesses that have been in existence for at least 2 years with government contracting. So if that is something that I'm interested in, how does that program work? And do you all like help me prepare for it as a business owner? Is there paperwork? Are there extensive processes that I have to go through? Are there negotiations or anything? What does that look like?
Yeah, so our Apex Accelerators used to be called a PTAC, which was Procurement Technical Centers a while back.
Yes.
And so recently they changed over. And so with that, that means that listen, the government buys everything. It does not matter what they buy. IT services, accounting services, for businesses that are doing laundry businesses, they buy that. If you're a graphic artist, they buy graphic work because they don't make the hats with the digitizing and the shirts with the screen printing on it. They contract with small businesses to do those. They buy light bulbs. They buy Listen to me, Candyland game. When I say everything, wigs,
What?
wigs, wigs,
Wow.
everything. So in order to get into that industry to sell your services to the federal government, you have to be registered in properly for them. So our Apex accelerators will walk you through the process of getting registered in, and the basics is sam.gov is what is referred to as. That's their system administration systems, management systems. Um, that once you're in sam.gov,
Mhm.
and a lot of folks go out there and they do it on their own, they get registered in, and then it's like, okay, now I'm registered in Sam, now what do I do?
Right.
So what we help them to do now, once and we'll walk you through, because there's a number of things that you have to do when you're going through SAMs, because that database pulls over into several other of the market databases that the purchasing officers use for the federal government. So when we work with you, we'll make sure that you're keying in everything that you need. So when it pulls over into those other profiles, that your business is marketable and it looks and it has the feel as to what the federal government is looking for to be able to do business with you. And then if you are a minority owned business, there's no thing for it that just says specifically minority owned. It's called 8A services, 8A certification,
Okay.
women owned certification, veteran owned certification. And so those certifications, so for instance, gives you opportunities for the set aside contracts, which means that if I'm a woman owned business, the federal government has a mandate that says at least 5% of the contracting dollars should go to women owned businesses. In order to get that, you have to be certified as a woman owned business. So we work with you through the process and helping you to gather those documentations and complete the certification so that you're able to sell your services to the government. Then we work with you to get your what we refer to as a capability statement. It looks sort of like a flyer sometimes when people put it together, but it's completely different because there's different components on it that the federal government looks for. And so not only do we work with you on the federal side, we also work with you on getting registered with the corporation side of the house, which is the MBE, the Minority Business Enterprise Program.
Okay.
And so that's how you do business, like with the Hyundais, the Alabama Southern Company, Alabama Power. We get you registered in those systems also. And then the other one is the Department of Transportation. So they buy services also too, and that's called the ALDOT, which is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. So for women-owned, Black-owned businesses, Hispanic businesses, Asians, Pacific American, those are, or Native Indians, all of those are considered disadvantaged businesses. And so with that and being able to get certified to do businesses, it just puts you at a greater opportunity to be able to get the contracts that are there for, that's mandated that the federal government has to do. Now the state and the county, there's also a vendor, and to become a vendor with them. So we help you to walk through the process, how to become a vendor with the state of Alabama, the counties, as well as the school systems. All of those are government entities that you can do business with and sell your services to. But there's a way how you market yourself to them, and then also certain things that you need to know. Like, for instance, if you're getting a business, doing business like with Montgomery or the counties, you have to have bonding. And so that's one of the things that a lot of small businesses have a challenge with, is because that bonding is so high and you have to carry it prior to getting the government contract all the way through. And if you cancel a bonding insurance, it's just like your regular insurance. It's hard to get it if you let it just lapse.
Okay.
And hard. So those are some things that we'll walk you through so you'll understand, the business will understand that a little bit better as they seek to do business with the federal government. And so we like to say in our world that we help you to get properly dressed. We walk you through the process to know when to wear the tuxedo and the gown and when to wear the baseball uniform.
All right. I love that. I love that analogy, how to get properly dressed. And so that's a huge part of what we want to help small business owners do, people with great ideas, people just in general, is to help folks get well dressed when it comes to their finances. And so I
Mhm.
know that we are a little over 5 minutes, right past our 30-minute mark. But I do just want to thank you for taking time out to be so informative. Like, this is an extraordinary opportunity because I want folks to know that there are people who are charging for the services that the SBDC offers for free.
Yes.
So understand that SBDCs are located all across the country. There are thousands of locations. There are almost a dozen in the state of Alabama alone. So
Mhm.
no matter where you are, there is an SBDC close to you. Start by either tapping into, and we're going to allow Mrs. Mosley to share her contact information. Start by tapping into your SBDC directly by going to the Small Business Administration website,
Mhm.
sba.gov, right? Not sba.com. Nope, 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 nope. .gov. It is the government, right? So we
That's
want to make
correct.
sure that you are connecting to the Small Business Administration, that you're learning about your SBDC, because a lot, again, there are folks who are charging people for the same information that is actually available for free. And who better to walk you through it than people who are connected to the agency that is creating the process itself? So this is extraordinary information. We have tons of viewers that are just thanking you for all of the sharing of your expertise this morning. Now, I want to make sure, though, that people are able to access the SBDC at Alabama State University. So, how can people best access your expertise and the expertise of your team members?
So they'll go to asbdc.org, and that's just acronym for Alabama SBDC, asbdc.org. And then once they go there, they'll register. You'll see the register button. Just register it in with the client. And we buy zip code. So by your zip code, we will send you to the appropriate SBDC in the state. And then for if they're not in the state of Alabama, they're going to go to America's with an S,
Okay.
America's SBDC .org. And
Okay.
from there, they'll put their zip code in. And once they put their zip code in, then they can, at that point, find their local SBDC that's in their area that they can work with. And please, don't, this services is really great services. And we don't want no small business to be out there struggling and feel like they got to do this on their own.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just talking it through and have someone to talk it through. And that's what we're here for. It's like we took the name away from counselor, though. So we don't use counselor anymore. We just use business advisor. But we feel like, even though we say advisor, it's counseling, because when you guys sit down and talk with us, we really work with you to help you and guide you through. And we're all of us, we're passionate about what we do, and we get excited in the moment, because every time that you come in with these ideas, and when you launch your business, it feels like that we're actually launching our business too, along with you. So we jump inside, we get giddy. So we want you to come in and see us.
And so, again, I want to thank you for your time. I am just so appreciative of you. And again, everything that they offer is free, y'all. So if you have a great business idea, or if you have a business that you're getting off the ground already, you have your business plan, no matter where you are, whether it's in ideation phase, right? You're just thinking about how to unfold this answer to people's prayers, right? Or whether you are a seasoned business owner, you've been in business for decades and you want to franchise, or you want to become a qualified vendor for government entities, or you just simply want to retire, then
Yes,
the SBDC
from the
is,
cradle to the grave.
yes, absolutely. The SBDC is an extraordinary resource, and we welcome you all to reach out to us. Again, this is Wealth Building Wednesday. And the last question, she says she loves it here. Can you help write a business plan? Yes, they help write business plans. So contact
So, and
people.
Lydia, I want to
Yeah.
say though, but we don't write it for you.
Right.
We help you write it. So we give you all the tools and we review it and check it as you write. And then once they start, we will also, go in and do some edits and various different things.
I'm so glad you said that you give the tools necessary to write that business plan. And if you are a person who, I don't like to put stuff on paper, do you have a friend? See, this is where the real life, like where the rubber meets the road, right? Do you have a friend who writes well? Do you have a friend
Mhm.
that is a teacher? Right? Who we choose to connect ourselves to makes a heck of a lot of difference when it comes to our
Mhm.
personal success and our business success. So you talked about the bail, the banker, the attorney or accountant. Wait a minute. I'm missing
Banker,
one.
accountant, insurance agent, and
Yes.
lawyer.
Yes, I
Yep.
knew the L. Look, I knew that.
Yeah.
Keep a lawyer, yes. But the banker, the accountant, the insurance agent, and the lawyer, though that team of folks, do you have people who you consider to be friends who are in those industries? Right.
Yeah.
And just because they're your friend doesn't mean that they're going to give you a friendly discount. That is
Oh,
their business. Right.
Lydia. Oh, I got to share something with them before I leave off.
Yes.
So we have Boch Bingham. That's a law firm that's in the state of Alabama.
Mhm.
And they only do this for Alabama in businesses. But if you're a minority owned, woman owned business
Mhm.
and your annual receipts are under $450,000, that's many of us,
Mhm.
there is a free service and it's Boch Boost program. Free. They do everything for legal except for they don't go to the courtroom, so there's no litigation,
Okay.
but everything that you can think of, LLC formations, researching for patents and intellectual property, writing up waivers and reviewing waivers, but it's BALCH. That's BALCH,
Okay.
Boost, BOOST
Mhm.
program.
Okay.
And all you do is fill out an application. They will reach back to you and help you with whatever the legal matters that you are need to have the conversation on. And it's important because I tell you, recently I was going through something and I needed the attorney and didn't start on the front end of it like I tell you all to do. It
Mhm.
was the back end. But it took me a year to get out of a situation that I was in that was dealing with a rental property. So on the front end, but that's a free program. And then the other thing is I want to make sure that I tell you guys about. So we're getting ready to launch our second year of our Empowered by GoDaddy, which is a
Yay!
digital marketing program. 6 weeks course is on a Thursday from 5:30 to 8:30. It is all virtual online. When you finish with that program, you will have skill sets that you would need to be successful in digital marketing, but you'll also get 2 years free of a website to hosting, 2 years free domain name, 2 years free of a business email address. You have to be already in business. So if you're not in business, you can sign up for this class. But if you go to that website that I gave you with the asbdc.org, you'll learn more about it. It is a dynamic course. It is through GoDaddy. And even if you decide, I don't want to use GoDaddy for my website, but the course itself for the digital marketing course
Mhm.
is wonderful program, and you will definitely gain a lot of information as to how to be successful online with your business.
Yes, I want to compliment you on the success of the last cohort, and we're going to have you back to talk about the upcoming cohort so that we can like really give detail around everything that GoDaddy and the SBDC are doing, what you all are doing to help make sure that digital marketing, that folks feel comfortable in this space, that people are able to identify those professionals who may be able to service them well, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just interesting how people how people have ended up navigating in those spaces. And
Yeah.
so we definitely want to have you back. So I just thank you so much. People
Thank
are
you.
still commenting and asking questions. So, so we'll just,
Hashtag SBD,
yes.
hashtag
Okay.
SBDC Day. Tell everybody to hit that up for me. Hashtag SBDC Day.
Awesome. I have put it in the comments. Y'all copy and share. Y'all share this video. Make sure that whether it is you or someone you love, someone you know, a colleague at work, if you are a small business owner, if you have a great idea that you want to turn into a business, if you are a business owner who has been in business for years, no matter where you are from birth, right, from conception through retirement, we definitely want to make sure that you are well equipped. And the SBDCs located across the state offer their services free of charge to small business owners. So we look forward to having you back again as we celebrate SBDC Day in the state of Alabama and across the country. There are thousands of locations. So even if you're not in Alabama, I actually had somebody hit me up and say, hey, we hear you in Texas. So even if you're in Texas, there are SBDCs located all across your state. So we are excited about all of the great information that we've been able to share this morning. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you for all that you do for the small business community in the state of Alabama and beyond. You are one stellar lady. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Lydia, so much.
Absolutely. And so to you, our viewers, we invite you back to join us next week for another live edition of Wealth Building Wednesday. Y'all, we are springing into action. It's time to go now. Y'all, let's get out here and build that wealth.